Tonight's red carpet guest is actor and rock biographer Geoffrey Giuliano, co-star of the smash hit Netflix series Squid Game. Now, he appears in episode 7 as number 4 VIP. If you've not seen the series yet, it's the story of hundreds of cash-strapped contestants accepting an invitation to compete in children's games for a tempting prize, but the stakes are deadly. It is not for the faint-hearted. Now, I'm going to tell you tonight, there is a phrase, life imitates art. And the following conversation I recorded with Geoffrey, speaking from Thailand this morning, is going to be a riot for your ears. Because it was for mine.
I used to live in Kent. I wrote a book with Gloria Hunniford, and she's got a house out there. Ha! And in 1972, I bought a sheepdog.
What I love is that whoever I interview around the world, there's always some connection that comes back to Kent. It's like that weird Kevin Bacon thing. What is it? 6 degrees of separation?
I don't know. I make movies. I don't watch them. And the Beatles recorded the promotional film for Penny Lane and Strawberry Fields on the horses out there.
Yeah. Places like Knoll Park in Sevenoaks, I think in Westmoreland as well, on the airfield, right here in Kent. Let's start with that perhaps, because I noticed when I'm chatting to you that immediately there's some Beatles stuff behind you. Has that been always something that has been really key to you?
Well, hold on. There's no Beatles stuff behind me whatsoever.
I can see John Lennon, can't I? Just behind you there.
Oh, that's a poster for a CD I did. Okay, I stand corrected. When you live with this stuff, you don't see it. So I have written 32 books, and probably about 21 or 2, I don't even know how many, were on the Beatles, both as a group and solo artist, and also on the Rolling Stones and Jimi Hendrix and Pete Townsend, who I used to work for. And yeah, I was a really big rock biographer, probably the biggest rock biographer in the 80s and 90s. And then one day I got a letter from Penguin, my publisher in Hudson Street, New York, saying, "Mr. Giuliano, you've given many years of service, mutually advantageous to our firm, but due to the advent of the internet, unfortunately, we will no longer be able to publish your books."
We've just had Paul McCartney over here starting to talk about, after 50 years, saying, actually, the split between me and John was not what you imagined it was, and it was a very different thing.
Okay, I have no personal interest in the Beatles. I wish them all well. Wherever all the 4 may be, I still believe that they're around. All 4. Yeah, I have no interest in the Beatles anymore, man. I've moved on. It'd be kind of weird if a guy over in his 60s that I hadn't moved on from the Beatles. And let me tell you, there's a lot of people who have not. They're lifelong fans of the Stones and this and that, and they'll go to their grave, But I try to be a little bit more, at least, stay in the right decade.
So is that what's your motivation, actually, just moving forward? The acting has become such a huge part.
Well, I made 28 movies and nobody noticed, except Hollywood. Hollywood, yeah, it's a good line. I wasn't trying to be cute, but I'll have to remember that one. But yeah, okay, I made 28 movies and no one noticed. My mother noticed, my wife noticed, my kids noticed, and fortunately, Hollywood noticed. So what happened was, like, I'd do a movie, Scorpion King 3, whatever it is, and then they'd offer me another one. And I'd do it, and nobody would notice. And then this thing happened with Squid Game. There's a funny story about that. About 2 weeks before Squid Game hit, I have problems sleeping. And my son I was in my son's room, and he's 13, his foot was hanging over the edge of the bed, and I put his foot back in the bed, and I covered it up, and there was a big moonbeam coming in the room. And I kind of looked at it, and I said to myself, well, Jeff, you tried really hard. You did everything that they said you're supposed to do. You got a master's degree in acting and directing. You did summer stock. You worked at a TV station in Toronto for 5 years for nothing. That you made some 28 movies, but buddy, you're over 60. It's just not going to happen for you. And then it happened.
God, it happened, didn't it? I mean, it overnight.
It happened really happened. Yeah.
This huge cult series. Now, sometimes things take a while to become a cult series, don't they? And you go, oh yeah, in retrospect, Twin Peaks, yeah, it's cult. This just hit the world. I don't know whether it was to do with a pandemic that they felt that it just,
It was to do with the fact that there's COVID-19. We live in a dystopian world. We're all depressed. where maybe we go out and get some fresh air, but we breathe in something that's going to kill us. We know that global warming is absolutely real and is wreaking and will continue to wreak a terrible toll upon mankind. We understand that there's authoritarian leaders popping up all over the world, and gross populism, going to the pandering to the lowest common denominator in politics. It's a scary, scary time with real reason to be scared. It's not just paranoid. It's this really. Go ahead. What do you want to say?
Apart from that, though, Jeff, life's good, right?
Yeah. I can't complain. Jeez, I didn't know they had wise guys like you in Kent. I thought you're all civilized.
I mean, it's horrific. Let's not beat about the bush here. As a storyline, it's horrific what happens.
The director told me a couple of weeks ago, after the movie was done and dusted, that I was supposed to be playing Donald Trump. Now, it would have been nice if he would have told me that, like before I went there or while I was there. Hey, Jeff, we want you to act like Donald Trump. But, at least I pulled a pig out of my soul somewhere, and I was able to, mirror that for everybody in a cartoonish caricature acting assignment. But it has completely it's like a nuclear weapon, thermonuclear weapon went off in my condominium. It's just my life is completely in every way rearranged, financially, opportunity. This morning I did Toronto Star. Now I'm doing the BBC. In a few minutes I'm doing Tampa, Florida newspaper, and then and on and on and on and on. It just goes like
and
let me be quiet. I'll tell you why. I did this. I got a lot of money, but it was a freelance gig. So, I can do whatever I want. I had a gag order on me until it was released, and now I don't. And I'm writing a book on it called Squid Game Confidential. And I've got, in 2 weeks, people can buy online an audiobook of my remembrances of the whole experience, and before, during, and after. I am VIP for Surviving Squid Game, and that'll be out everywhere. So, look, if that film series, I call everything a film. It's not a film, it's a TV show. Okay, whatever. That TV show made $900 million. Incrementally, we see what the value of my contribution of 10 or 12 minutes in there showing my butt and being a real kind of crazy man. I think they owe me a couple, between $2 and $6 million. So, and since I guess got the funny idea they're not going to pony up on that, I'm just taking it upon myself to go out and, as the bottom feeder that apparently I must be now, like on the Serengeti, they have the hippopotamus, and on the bottom there's a bird that sucks off the algae. That's kind of what I am. And, I'm determined to squeeze out at least $1 million for myself. It seems only fair. I contributed to the success of that thing. I'm jesting, of course. Money is no consequence to me whatsoever.
But leading up to it, it actually, it was a bit of a tough time, Jeff. Was that right? That just near that period, not only with the pandemic going on, but
India,
finding yourself in a place where you're trying to get back home, all the rest.
Yeah, well, I went to India. For to show my son. I'm a member of an Indian religious organization. Long time meditator and so forth, vegetarian, blah, blah, blah. And I wanted my son, I don't want to would never indoctrinate any of my children into anything, but I wanted to offer him a view of Indian philosophy and culture. So I took him over there. I took $2,000, but Modi closed the airport and I couldn't get home. And I went through that $2,000, didn't bring any credit cards. I went through that $2,000 in about 3 weeks, and we didn't get home for 6 months. So we were waiting in line with beggars, which was a beautiful experience because beggars are beautiful. And we're all beggars at the gates of God anyway. So if the end game was for my son to experience India, he did a little bit more than was planned. He knows every back alley in Jaipur and Delhi. But
that point was a real change at that point, wasn't it? Because of this whole series suddenly erupting.
Well, what happened was I did a film I'm proud of called Peninsula Train to Busan. And the director saw me in that. And after being, not having a very easy time to find someone to play this part, they said, would you like to cast? And I made a tape and I got the part. And so, but look, when I was paid a great deal more money than I am normally paid. So that was like a red flag. The hotel suite I was in was a red flag. When I got to the set and it was like the Astrodome in Houston, that was a red flag. But I still didn't have any, resolute consciousness that this indeed was going to be some, the Beatles of TV shows in 2021. I just thought, okay, this is a gig like the others. It's a better gig than the others, but it's just a gig, and I'm going to go home and maybe hang around for a few months and I'll get another call from somebody to do another film. But then all hell broke loose. I mean, really, it's just, I have to turn off my phone, because it beep, 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 beep all night. But, and see, the other thing is look, if you want anything with Squid Game, you have to come with me. The other VIPs were extras. They were just extras. I saw the contract from Netflix. It said there are 14 stars of Squid Game, and I am number 14. I just squeaked through. If anybody wants to talk Squid Game, they more or less have to come to me. As a result of that, I am embarking on a perpetual world tour of comic cons around the world, in every country you can imagine, because they want me to, and in between I'll make movies when I can. But interestingly, I have not had a movie offer yet, which I find. Now I'm just thinking, Kent, I remember that neighborhood, with Gloria, probably a few movie producers around there, living in Kent. So like any of you guys that hear this and you need a guy like me, I'm the guy you need. Very simple.
Do you know what, Geoffrey? I never thought I would be linking up with you in Thailand, talking about Squid Game on Netflix, and you and I would be mentioning Gloria Honeyford in Sevenoaks. She's going to get such a kick out of that.
Well, where our relationship stands, so I'm not sure how much. She might want to kick me, but why? Do you know her?
Yeah.
Well, tell her I said hello.
Will do. Geoffrey, it's been really great having you on the show. Thank you so much.
Well, what do you mean? What do you mean it's been? Come on, let's go. We're just getting warmed up, baby.
You are an absolute dream to talk to. Thank you so much for being with us. We really appreciate it.
Call me anytime, bro.
I say talk to, maybe just listen to. My ears are hurting. I don't know about yours, but wow. What a character. Geoffrey Giuliano from Squid Game.